Look guys, I'm finally reviewing Mania. Hell, it's even Mania Plus Edition. You guys happy? You guys fucking happy? Cool, let's do this. It's not really a question that in the 365 plus days that Sonic Mania has been released, that it's become such a huge hit. It became the best reviewed Sonic game since generations, I guess. You guys were probably expecting me to say Sonic 2 or Sonic 3, but nope, haha. I remember back 2 years ago when Mania's first reveal trailer was shown off at that disastrous 25th anniversary party. If you were at this event in person, I'm sure everything was just fine, but if you were online watching that live stream, oh my god, the audio on this stream was garbage. It almost took until Crush 40 performing on stage to fix the issue. To be honest, this whole live stream has already been memed to death for me to talk about, so let's get back on topic. In the midst of this problematic live stream, us online viewers were accidentally given our first glimpse of a brand new classic Sonic game, Sonic Mania. I love this reveal trailer. It's absolutely perfect. However, I wasn't excited for this game because, oh my god, it's classic Sonic, but it was more for the people who were working on this game. It wasn't Sonic Team, and it sure as hell wasn't Dimps, but it was being done by longtime Sonic Retro users. This consisted of Christian Whitehead, the guy who made that kick-ass Sonic CD port, Headcanon, aka Stealth, another retro user who also helped Christian Whitehead port Sonic 1 and 2 on mobile devices. There was also an independent company part of the project called Pagoda West, a company that also consisted of multiple longtime Sonic fans, with several of their members already having experience from that Sonic 2 HD project. Oh, and by the way, during the 25th anniversary party, this was everyone's reaction upon seeing the Christian Whitehead logo pop up. Yeah! Amazing. So like I said, I was looking forward to this game solely for the team that was working on it. I did also realize that this was not going to be a proper follow-up to Sonic 3 and Knuckles, which is still to this day my favorite Sonic game of all time. So I went into Mania with decent expectations. I had zero doubts that this game was gonna flop because I had 100% faith in the team of fans that were working on it. In a way, they were my dream team. Plus, T-Lopes was gonna compose the soundtrack. Like, hello? Anyways, it's been a year since the game's initial release. Does Sonic Mania still hold up as well as we all think? Yes, but let's start from the beginning. The story, as I would imagine, takes place after Sonic 3. Sonic and Tails receive a signal coming from Angel Island, which fell back into the ocean again, so they go check it out. Turns out Dr. Eggman is also tracking the same signal, so he decides to go after it too, while also being accompanied by his newly built team of Batniks for this game, the Hard-Boiled Heavies. The object being detected is called the Phantom Ruby, which throughout the game has the ability to teleport the characters to different locations and such. As a result, Sonic and Tails, who are also accompanied by Knuckles, end up venturing through multiple recognizable levels, again, while also visiting a couple new locations until eventually they end up at Eggman's biggest creation in the form of a giant egg robo. The Sonic heroes obviously defeat Dr. Eggman and destroy all the heavies, and all of their endings show Eggman's giant robot exploding, though in Sonic's good ending, he ends up getting sucked into a portal, which will lead him straight into underwhelmment. Oh, there's also a slight continuation of this story thanks to Encore Mode, which basically has Sonic returning from garbage to find two long-lost characters, Mighty the Armadillo and Ray the Flying Squirrel, who were both stuck in a capsule on Angel Island. Sonic sets them free, but it turns out that the hard-boiled heavies have returned because they're robots. I'm pretty sure Eggman could easily rebuild them. So all 5 characters go through all the same levels again and eventually defeat Dr. Eggman and the heavies. Again. And that's the plot of Sonic Mania. It's extremely simplistic, kinda like the other classic Sonic games, so it fits just fine. Like I said, I wasn't expecting anything major from Mania's plot to top Sonic 3 and Knuckles. I mean, Sonic 3 was quite possibly the king of doing level transitions and plot scenarios without any needed dialogue. Mania doesn't have that same charm from Sonic 3, but the way Mania presents its story is still really enjoyable and entertaining. The sprite animations and mini cutscenes between levels are really amusing to watch. The characters are full of emotion and deliver all the cutscenes extremely well. These transitions are cool and all, but I kinda would've loved to see the level transitions be fully animated like the opening and ending cutscenes. Seriously, these animated cutscenes look really good. The intro alone looks gorgeous. Hopefully if a Mania 2 rolls around, they'll use that idea of fully animating the level transitional cutscenes. Seriously, Sega, or whoever's watching that's probably working at Sega, just take that idea from me. You don't even have to give me credit, just use it, please. If there were any complaints I had about Sonic Mania's level transitions, almost all of these issues got fixed with Mania Plus's updated cutscenes. So the level transitions here are a little better, though questionable. Like, we're just gonna roll with the fact that Chemical Plant is underneath Studiopolis, or that this submarine in Oil Ocean seriously jumped all the way to Lava Reef, which is on Angel Island. Yeah, a few of these transitions are pretty odd. But in my opinion, I think when it comes to the whole grand scheme of things, who cares? Like, seriously, who fucking cares? Don't get me wrong, I would have loved if all the level transitions were as perfect as they were in Sonic 3 and Knuckles. However, I wouldn't hold that against Mania so much because I really do not give a shit. These level transitions get the job done just fine, and besides, I think the game itself more than makes up for these minor faults. Let's go straight into that, the gameplay. Okay, if you guys know anything about Christian Whitehead's previous work, then you've probably already put 2 and 2 together that the classic Sonic gameplay in Mania is absolutely, undeniably well executed. Not to mention, thanks to Mania Plus, we now have 5 motherfucking characters to play as. Sonic controls exactly how he did in the classics. Momentum-based physics, spin dashes, bounce attacks, and all. He doesn't have the insta-shield, well, by default, but Sonic does have a new ability called the drop dash. A move that's a little confusing to figure out, but once you master it, you'll be using this move constantly. Tails and Knuckles are the exact same as they were in Sonic 3K, so that means Tails can fly and Knuckles can glide. No new abilities. Mighty's almost the exact same as Sonic, but instead of the drop dash, he has a slam attack. It's pretty damn cool. I love using it to hit the ground to kill any nearby enemy. Ray is the fucking bomb, mainly since he has a kick-ass glide. It can seriously break a lot of the levels with large open areas. It's great to see these two back in action. It was pretty surprising to see them make a comeback when Mania Plus got announced. To be honest, I love Mighty and Ray, but I would have also liked to see a classic Amy be implemented. Like, maybe they could have given her Sonic Spin Dash, plus also incorporate a few of her abilities from the advanced games. I think a classic Amy has a lot of potential to work really well. Oh well, Mania 2 maybe? All 3 elemental shields were brought back and they function just like they did in Sonic 3K and Generations. This time, however, the shields, mainly the fire and electric shields, have some effects on the environment. So the fire shield can burn wooden objects and melt ice, while the electric shield can make you stick to magnetic ceilings and such. I love fun little details like that. Also, even though the fire, bubble, and electric shields are in this game, we also have the standard blue shield. Personally, I think it's kind of a pointless inclusion, but whatever. One unique item in Mania is the blue ring box, which is actually an item taken from Knuckles Chaotix of all games. In Chaotix, the blue ring box made it to where whenever you'd get hurt by an enemy, all your rings would be gathered into one singular ring, and recollecting it would give you all your rings back. In Mania, however, instead of just being one ring, it's now multiple bouncing chunks of your rings. I think this was a pretty neat idea, and it's also a pretty nice callback to such an obscure game like Chaotix. Like, that game is fucking weird, man. I'll have to look at that game in the next episode. Winky face. There's also this game's bonus stages, which I really like. Before Plus, the original bonus stage was a pretty dope recreation of Sonic 3's Blue Spear stages. Initially, these were just for collecting golden medals that were used for unlocking different game modes and other extra content. However, what's pretty cool in Mania Plus is that we were given a brand new bonus stage in the shape of a pinball machine, which I love way more. It's super useful for getting shields, extra lives, rings, etc, etc. Look, I love me some Blue Spear, but leaving the bonus stages with actual rewards just feels better. So much better. I think every zone in Mania in terms of level design is pretty goddamn good for 2D Sonic. We've got 12 levels to go to, with 4 of them being brand new and 8 of them being reused. So in Mania we've got Green Hill Zone, Chemical Plant, Studiopolis, Flying Battery, Press Garden, Stardust Speedway, Hydro City, Mirage Saloon, Oil Ocean, Lava Reef, Metallic Madness, and Titanic Monarch. Yeah, there's a pretty obvious issue with this game's level selection. There's not a whole lot of original zones in this game, which is pretty disappointing. Still, I think the level designs and layouts are all pretty well done, with some obvious exceptions. What's pretty interesting is that the first acts of the reused levels seem like compilations of the original versions of the levels. Then in Act 2 they start remixing everything and make new ideas for the levels. Some of the reimagined levels seem pretty unique and cool, but other times they do kind of feel the exact same as the original levels. With some highlights, I do love the bouncy jello floors in Chemical Plant. I love how we now have a 3D background and flying battery, not to mention those beautiful shots of the volcanoes that you see from a distance in Lava Reef. Plus the spectacular choice of colors and hues for levels like Studiopolis or Titanic Monarch. Seriously, the graphics for Sonic Mania can contain some pretty spectacular sprite work by the art team. This game can be absolutely gorgeous to look at. Not to mention the music! Oh my lordy, the soundtrack is amazing! T-Lopes, man, he nailed it! He freaking nailed it! Not only are his remixes of the reimagined levels catchy and awesome, but the new music he came up with for this game is pretty goddamn good. In fact, it's probably a million times better than the remixes. Beautiful. I love Sonic Mania's soundtrack, you guys. I love it so much that I actually went out of my way to import the Japanese exclusive bonus edition for Switch. Mainly because I just wanted to have the soundtrack physically. Also, can I just say, it feels so good to finally own this game physically. Also, if you're gonna play Mania on Switch, I'd recommend using the Pokken Tournament controller. You're probably not gonna be too shocked to realize how perfect that controller fits for games like Mania. While there are a ton of good aspects and fun ideas in these levels, I will admit that after playing through Mania way more times than I probably should've, there is a point where I feel this game can kinda drag. Whenever I do sit down and try to play through this game in one sitting nowadays, I don't know why, but once I reach Hydro City, I just sort of feel like I should stop playing. Perhaps it's fatigue or something like that, but every time I reach Hydro City, I've been playing the game for a solid hour and I just feel like I should stop. Even then, a few levels before that, I don't think Press Garden is all that great. I do love the music and I love this level's callbacks to Launch Base, but I just wasn't too much into this level. It's decent, but I feel like it was probably a little too overhyped for me. Okay, looping back a bit, the first new level, Studiopolis, is great. This is a phenomenal level with a great look, awesome level design, and it also has some pretty fantastic music. Seriously, Studiopolis Act 1 is my favorite song out of the entire soundtrack. I think that's T-Lopes' magnum opus, I swear to God. One thing I love about the level design in Sonic Mania is that it's very clearly taking inspiration from Sonic 3, and even Sonic CD. And Studiopolis is a great example of that. It's pretty explorative, has multiple pathways, and a lot of hidden secrets you could come across. The only issue I'd say is that this level is very Stardust Speedway inspired, which isn't really a bad thing on this level alone, but it also just makes the actual inclusion of Stardust Speedway later on kinda redundant. Like, imagine you just finished playing through Press Garden, but then a few levels later you end up going to Launch Base? Wouldn't that make you tilt your head a bit? Whatever, let's go to the other new level. Mirage Saloon. Act 2, I love. Act 1, I kinda don't like, unless you're Knuckles. For every other character, Act 1 is just a Sky Chase-esque level, which I'm not too much into. I also think this level can drag on for a little too long. But as Knuckles, he doesn't get to go through this Sky Chase themed level. Instead, he gets a full-fledged Act 1, which is pretty dang fun. I always look forward to playing this level during my Knuckles playthroughs. Fun fact time. Mirage Saloon is a pretty interesting level since it's based off that cut level Christian Whitehead wanted to put in his Sonic CD port called Desert Dazzle. However, even Desert Dazzle in itself was based off a cut Sonic 2 level that was called Sand Hill. So, kinda in a way, we had to wait a whole 25 goddamn years to finally play this desert level. That's pretty interesting to think about. Fun fact time over. I've had complaints about this certain part of Mania, but if there's one level that I absolutely cannot stand playing through, which is actually the level that comes right after Mirage Saloon, and it's the worst level in the game. You know what I'm gonna say, it's Oil Ocean. Do I even need to explain why this level sucks? It's just as boring as the original Oil Ocean, and it can also last way too long. Act 2 is especially awful. I think this is the worst act in the game, bar none. And that's crazy because I think the reimagined Green Hill, Chemical Plant, like the other older levels, I thought they did a pretty good job reimagining those older levels. But Oil Ocean, there's nothing redeemable about it, besides maybe the music, which T-Whoops, good job. And this is coming from someone who loved Sandopolis and Sonic 3 and Knuckles, but who in the development team thought it would be a good idea to take the night gimmick from Sandopolis Act 2 and incorporate that into Oil Ocean Act 2 as this annoying ass fog that takes up the entire screen? Not to mention it can make you lose rings one by one as the level goes on, so you gotta use those switches in the level to clear the screen before you run out of rings. It's a really irritating aspect, and it's not fun. One thing I don't get is that why can't the fire shield protect you from all of this? I feel like that should have been an obvious thing to program in. Oi, fuck this level. However, beating Oil Ocean can be seen as a really good thing because you're rewarded with Lava Reef, and at least in my opinion, the game starts to pick up again from here. I love Lava Reef and all of its new inclusions. I also love what they did with Metallic Madness. For example, remember that tiny Sonic set piece in the original level which lasted like a minute or two? Well, now it's a repeating stage gimmick in Mania, which is really fun and cute. The chibi characters are so fucking cute. Then there's the final zone, Titanic Monarch, which is probably my favorite level in the entire game. Yes, I'm being serious. I don't know why, I just love this level so much. Apart from its solid graphics and great music, the level layouts here are spectacular. They've got such a great pace of speed and platforming, and I feel that Titanic Monarch is a great testament of all the skills you've learned throughout playing the game. It's kinda like a 2D Eggman land. Minus the Werehog, obviously. This is quite possibly my favorite final stage in the entirety of Classic Sonic's career. The only flaw I'd say I have for this zone is that one segment in Act 1. You all know what I'm talking about if you've played the game, but I would argue that replaying this level a million times over and over again can actually make you more prepared for that one segment. It's a pretty bold defense, but hey, that segment doesn't bother me that much anymore. Then again, I'm probably the only one who'd say I play Titanic Monarch a million fucking times and never get sick of it. God, I love the aesthetic of how this entire level takes place inside of a giant fucking robot, which is a detail that I didn't even fully realize until Mania Plus's new level transitions. Slick as fuck. Another topic, the boss fights in Sonic Mania are about as good as the previous bosses in the other classic Sonic games, meaning they're decent. They're nothing spectacular, but most of them are still good. I love how the Egg Robo in Sonic 2 is the first boss fight in Green Hill Zone of all places. I think that's pretty humorous. I like how the Studiopolis fight has you running and dodging missiles, and using the drop dash here feels really satisfying to pull off. Also, the Mean Bean boss was really fun. That spider and flying battery gave me some trouble, but over time I learned to really like it and get used to it. Also, can I just say that mini boss in Stardust Speedway? Fuck you, Christian. He made those spotlight batniks that are all throughout Stardust Speedway into a boss fight. I'm not sure if Whitehead watched my old reviews, but I'm so certain he did this on purpose. One boss I'd say I don't like very much is the Mirage Saloon boss. It kinda overstays its welcome in my opinion. The Oil Ocean boss is also extremely annoying. The only reason why I could get past this is because I've played this game so many times that I've just become damn near used to its bullshit. The one issue I'd say I have with these bosses is that a lot of them can be cheesed through really easily. Despite a couple exceptions, not a lot of them really last too long. I'm kinda resorting to just skimming through them. Whoops. The final boss is okay. Seeing all the heavies teaming up with Eggman during the fight is pretty neat, though striking the hitbox on Eggman can be a little cheap to pull off. Pretty much the electric shield's gonna be your best friend in this boss fight. Of course, if you've played any other Sonic game after Sonic 3 and pre-Sonic Colors, this isn't the true final boss. You probably guessed that emerald collecting was brought back, and you'll have to collect them by going through the special stages, which, just like in Sonic 3, can be accessed by the returning special rings which are all hidden throughout the levels. And praise the maker, the special stages are completely new. Not only that, but they're pretty goddamn good and fun. What you have to do is chase down these UFOs that are holding the emeralds before time runs out. Throughout the stage you can collect blue spears to help build up Mach speed to help you run faster. These special stages are pretty fantastic. I love the Saturn-style graphics, and I really like the clever references to past special stages. Not with just the blue spears from Sonic 3, but the birds from Sonic 1 special stages, all the levels modeled after those SNES-looking racetracks from Sonic CD. Not only that, to build up time, you gotta collect rings. Pretty clever, right? Well, this is actually a callback to Knuckles Chaotix's special stages, which use the exact same idea of using rings as your time. Yet another out there callback to an obscure game. I love it. Also, the special stage music is goddamn amazing and explosively colorful. I could seriously listen to this specific track all day. It's beautiful. As you might already know, collecting all 7 Chaos Emeralds grants every character the ability to turn super. Yes, I said every character, not just Sonic. Super Tails and Super Knuckles are finally back, and we even get a Super Mighty and Super Ray. Holy shit. I'm so glad they didn't puss out on not giving all these characters the abilities. Like before, all of their movesets get slightly enhanced, they can all jump higher, and just overall the gameplay is much more faster paced. There's no option to turn off the super form while in a level, which is odd because there's a separate button to turn super. I assumed it would have worked vice versa. But just like in Sonic 3, you can shut off the super form by entering and exiting a bonus stage. Dope. Actually, on the topic of a super form, I think the main reason why I adore Titanic Monarch so much is because I love plowing through that stage as Super Sonic. Something feels so satisfying about ramming through all the enemies and obstacles, and being able to find quicker routes thanks to Super Sonic's higher jump and quicker speed. So good. Super Sonic can make this level his bitch, and it kicks ass. As Sonic, after beating the final boss in Titanic Monarch, getting all 7 Chaos Emeralds will transport you to the Egg Reverie Zone, which is where the true final boss takes place. This is an alright final boss. All you gotta do is just ram into Eggman and the lead heavy a bunch of times. It's a decent finale to the game, but I wouldn't say this would top Doomsday Zone, like, at all. Though nothing will, especially not this type of game. Moving on to the extra content, well, the most obvious one to point out is the new one, Encore Mode. Encore Mode was the new DLC that not only put in Mighty and Ray, but it also had a new mode that included revamped stages and a slight continuation of Mania's storyline, which, as I already addressed, didn't add too much. Encore Mode mostly just consists of playing through all the older levels again, but with slightly altered layouts and with much different color palettes. I think Encore Mode is alright, but I wouldn't consider it anything mind-blowing. The color palettes are visually nice and all, though I'm not the biggest fan of how both Press Garden and Oil Ocean barely look any different. I'm also not into the fact that they relocated all the special rings. Look, I've played Mania more times than necessary, so when playing Encore Mode, it seriously threw me off whenever some special rings are in the same spot, but most of them ended up getting moved. It's such a tease whenever you check an older location and all you find is a freaking ring box and shit. Like, they knew you were gonna check there, so they decided to make fun of you for it. Fuck you, Christian. I love you. One thing I would say I love about Encore Mode is that for Mirage Saloon Act 1, they made a completely new level for it. And I think this new level is way better than the Sky Chase level. I do kinda wish they would put in an option to switch that Mirage Saloon level for Mania Mode. Also, the Encore special stages, yuck. Very yuck. They're beatable, but fuck me, they're hard as shit. All that effort just to get the super forms again. Well, at least the 100% reward is super cute. As a whole, Encore Mode is a fun distraction, but I'd easily say that Mighty and Ray are way more worth getting the Encore DLC than, well, Encore Mode itself. Wrapping up the rest of the extra content, we've got the time attack from the classic games, the multiplayer which can now go up to 4 players but doesn't have online capabilities. Pretty disappointing, but hey, I guess that's what mods for the PC version are for. There's also an option to play the Mean Bean Machine minigame on its own, and there's the returning DA Garden from CD, which is just a visual sound test. There are also some pretty fun single player options. As Sonic, you could give him the option to use the Super Peel Out or the Insta Shield in the place of the Drop Dash. There's also a funny option called And Knuckles Mode, an option that you can hilariously play with any character, including Knuckles himself. Knuckles in Knuckles Mode is hilarious to play through, and it's also the only way Knuckles can have access to the Egg Reverie final boss. And you get to see a pretty fun drawing at the end as a reward, with another cute callback to Chaotix too. And that was Sonic Mania and Sonic Mania Plus. I mentioned all the extra content to help justify that $25 to $30 price tag, which is something I see a lot of fans seriously complaining about, but I honestly don't give a shit, especially after buying the game multiple times. You think I gave a shit that this game costed $20 at launch? Even if it costed $40, I still would have bought it more than once without hesitation. Oof. I have a problem. Yeah, I think after all the love I've been giving this game, you guys can probably already guess that I highly recommend playing Mania and purchasing it multiple times because it's so dang good. As a sequel to Sonic 3 and Knuckles, on a technical aspect, it's bloody great. On an originality aspect, well, that's the only real issue that I have with Mania. Playing through the older levels with this game's fantastic level design and with it all running on that sexy retro engine is fun and all, but seeing the original content that this game has to offer just makes me wish it had way more of it. My ideal pathway of a Mania sequel is that it needs to be fully original. No rehashes, more of the new shit. Mania 2 has a lot of potential in my eyes. Like, I let all of this stuff slide for the first game, but if you bring back Green Hill Zone and Sonic Mania 2, come on, Sega. For me, it didn't matter much if this game was a true sequel to Sonic 3 and Knuckles or not. From the first reveal trailer, I had that mindset. The game turned out exactly how I wanted it to, both the good and bad aspects. What was most important to me was the team who got to work on this game, and I think everyone did a fantastic job. They delivered a solid, official Classic Sonic title, and I salute all of them. To Christian, Stealth, Pagoda West Games, T-Lopes, and just about everyone else on this team, thank you for this good game. Hopefully for Mania 2, both Azuka and Sega will be less strict on you guys and allow you guys to do more original shit. For now, all that mattered to me for Mania 1 was that it was good. So Sega, or anyone at Sega who's watching for some reason, please, for God's sake, let all these guys go all out with Mania 2. I know Azuka said the Mania project is done or some shit, but who cares? He says those type of things all the time. I think Mania 2 could be dope as hell, but I guess instead of thinking what could be, I should probably get back to focusing on what we have. So yeah, Sonic Mania Plus. Go fucking play it. Solid gameplay, dope levels, a kick-ass soundtrack, and a pretty nice physical copy with a reversible Genesis cover that also differs in each region. Hell yeah, go play it! I love this game and will probably continue to put 200 hours in this game for the coming years. It's a good ass game, go play it, yada yada. Ho ho ho, hey, that was the Sonic Mania review. Wow, hope that was worth the 1 year wait. Paco's on the microphone, so the WAV file's getting a bit shaky. Paco, get off the mic! Anyways, yeah, that was my Sonic Mania Plus review. I mean, I'm sorry that it took a whole year to finally get finished and get released. Then again, it was probably a good idea that I waited because Plus ended up happening, so I had some more stuff to mention and talk about, kind of. So, yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the review. I'm recording this again after I finished editing. Before this review ends, I actually just want to let you guys know that I am horribly burnt out on Sonic Mania, and I'm happy I got this review out because I don't want to play this game for a long time. And it was kind of a hassle to edit together this entire review, but you know, I got it done, and hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Yay. Okay, so a few people I want to give shoutouts to for helping make this review possible. Special thanks to my cousin Peter for helping me record multiplayer footage. Believe it or not, that brief glimpse of multiplayer footage that you guys saw, we actually recorded that like far back in July, like even just before Sonic Mania Plus came out. So yeah, thanks Peter for that, recording that with me. Shout out to Digital Londons for the Sonic 2 HD gameplay footage. Shout out to Sega Bits for recording that stuff at the Sonic 25th anniversary party. And thank you to Hyper for providing that Sonic 1 and 2 Android gameplay footage. So yeah, thank you all for watching the review. Hope you all enjoy it. If you want to see me make more reviews like this, then please subscribe, and hopefully the next reviews will not take a whole year to come out. If you want to support me, the links to my Patreon and my Ko-fi are in the description, and you'll also find all the links to my social medias like Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and stuff like that. So yeah, thank you all for watching. Check out the Sonic 4 review if you have not, and I will see you guys in October for Knuckles Chaotix. And yeah, take care. Thanks for watching.